Hello everyone, my name is Camille Tate and this is my Connect Extend Challenge routine for standardized testing for EEC3613 assessing young children. So for number 1, connect. The information presented in chapter 3 connect to what I already know because growing up from elementary to high school, I took both aptitude and achievement tests at the beginning and the end of the year. In elementary and middle school, I took aptitude tests at the beginning of each school year in the form of a benchmark to determine what I had learned in the previous grade and what I had the potential to learn in the current grade that I was in based on what I had learned in the previous grade. At the end of each school year, I took achievement tests in the form of the FCAT or the FSA, and these standardized tests tested my mastery on certain skills such as reading, writing, and math, and my mastery in these skills were graded with a score from 1 to 5, 5 being the best and 1 being the worst, and if I got anything lower than a 3, it was considered failing, and then they would have to reevaluate me to determine whether or not I was able to move on to the next grade. Because I have a type A personality, one of my elementary school teachers thought that I had ADD or ADHD, so she recommended that I take a personality test, and I actually did take a personality test, and they determined the results were actually inconclusive. So as far as personality tests, I know that parents and teachers usually will give a child a personality test if they feel that maybe they could possibly have a learning disability or a developmental disability, and they kind of want to get to the root of that problem. For number 2, extend. The main takeaway that I got from this is that children are assessed from the moment they are born by parents and doctors, and eventually teachers when they enter school. Parents and doctors can take a look out for a child with a developmental, learning, or even mental disability, so that way they can better accommodate the child in the school setting. They can develop an individualized education plan for the child if they are struggling, so that they can have that leverage and they can have a better chance to succeed in school and the same chances to succeed as their peers do. In addition, I did not realize how much work and how much effort are actually put in to assembling a standardized test. So it is extremely important to list the purpose of a standardized test in the manual so children know why they are being tested. And in addition, it is extremely important that the people who are making the standardized tests make the test fair for people of all cultures and all ethnicities. Finally, the last takeaway that kind of pushed my thoughts in new directions is the fact that tests need to have a seriously high degree of validity and reliability. And this means that the test needs to serve the purpose that it states for the child and assessing the child, and the test needs to be reliable, which means that it needs to be reasonable for the child who is taking it. So it needs to be kind of at grade level, and it needs to assess what the child learned throughout the entire school year. For number 3, challenge. The biggest element that is still confusing to me regards the purpose of intelligence tests. Now, I understand that achievement tests and aptitude tests, they kind of test on prior knowledge or they test on mastery, they test on what the student can learn, but it says in the chapter that intelligence tests are used to test intellectual functioning. Now, I am confused on how intelligence tests differ from, let's say, achievement tests, because when you're measuring intellectual functioning, wouldn't you be measuring a student's mastery on what they have learned in school? So that probably is the biggest question mark in my head.